Hello guys, so in this video we will be going to discuss around Amazon Kinesis data stream, and we will see how we can produce data and consume data from Amazon Kinesis data streams. Okay, so before that let's understand what is Amazon Kinesis and how it is related to Kinesis data streams. Okay, so Kinesis is basically a service provided by the AWS that provide three kind of services under it, and those three services are mainly for capturing data streams, to process data streams, and to store data streams. Okay, so to capture data stream, Kinesis data streams are helpful. To analyze it or maybe to process it, Kinesis analytics is helpful, which is they are known as Flink application as well. And then after, to store it in the destination, Kinesis warehouse is helpful. Okay, so in this video we will be going to understand this Kinesis data streams only, that is responsible for capturing data streams. Okay, so now we understood what is Kinesis data streams. Let's see what exactly is data streams. Okay, so let's say you have multiple devices in any building and those devices are continuously pushing up the data, right? So that would be a data stream basically, in which data is coming at a fixed velocity or maybe at a dynamic velocity, but data is coming continuously, right? So to store that data, it would not be helpful if we are really like kind of pushing that data directly to Amazon S3, right? To directly to Amazon Redshift, right? So that would be really a costly if we directly push it. So what we do, we basically push it to Kinesis data streams, and then after either we make group of that data we combine that data on some logic. The logic could be like, if data size is greater than 1 MB, then after push it to Amazon S3. And if let's say messages count is more than 1000, let's push it to Amazon S3. So maybe we can apply any logic in the firehouse, but Kinesis data stream can help us save cost in comparison to if we are directly pushing it to the destination, right? So this is how this Kinesis data streams are important. Then after, let's understand this Kinesis data stream. One more point, shards. So what we do is basically there is an rate on which data would be coming in, right? So let's say your data is coming at a 1 MB per second max rate, then one shard is enough. But if the data is coming at more higher speed, 2 MB per second, 3 MB per second, then in that case you would be requiring more shards, right? So based on your data rate, you can decide how many shards you need inside the Kinesis data stream. Let's say you are not very clear how much shards you need, how many number of shards you need. In that case, Kinesis also give us option to create on a serverless basis, in which the shards number can be increased dynamically and reduced dynamically based on the data rate coming in the data stream. Okay, so this is how shard plays an important role. Then after, okay, so one more important point to discuss is partition key. Okay, so let's see, we are pushing up some data. With the data, we have to tell Amazon Kinesis like, this is the partition key. Partition key could be any string for you. On that basis of string value, Amazon is going to calculate a hash, and on that hash basis, it is going to decide the shard. Okay, so make sure if you have multiple shards, you are pushing data with dynamic partition keys, right? The reason being is, let's say you have multiple shards and you are pushing data with fixed partition key 1, let's say, right? So all the Amazon is going to do is like, Amazon calculate this hash from this key 1, and then after, on that basis it will going to select the shard, right? So every time key 1 hash of this key 1 would be same, and then after shard would be the same. So your all other shards would not be going to use, right? So for that case, like if you have multiple shards, make sure you sending partition key dynamically, so that all the shards are equally and kind of balanced utilized, right? So this is the importance of partition key, right? So now let's quickly jump over to the AWS console, and then after we'll see how we can create a Kinesis data stream and push, and then after consume data from it. Okay, so I am here. Okay, so let's quickly create I am on the Kinesis console basically. So we have three options again: Kinesis data stream, Firehose, and Apache Flink. So as we already discussed, like we are going to only see this Kinesis data stream. Analytics is basically this Flink application, and the Firehose is basically the responsible for kind of to push it to the destination by grouping that data. Okay, let's create data stream. So I am going to create demo video stream. Okay, then after it is asking for data stream capacity, on demand or provisioned. So as we discussed, it has two mode: provisioned, in which you have to define the shards. On demand is basically shards are reduced and increased dynamically. Okay, so let's go in provisioned. Like cost would be more if we go in on demand, like, right? So let's use only a single shard, and then after create data stream. Okay, so one important point before creating it is like data retention period. So this data retention period is we can basically change by kind of I think once we create this. So data retention is like, let's say you push thousands or millions of messages in this Kinesis data stream. So those messages would be stored for a specific time that you have defined in the setting. Okay, data retention time. So for now it is 1 day. So every messages would be stored in this data stream up to the 1 day, and once this time period expire, that message is going to delete. Okay, so the higher this setting, the more cost would be you would be encountering. Okay, so make sure you make this kind of which is kind of best suit your application. So that's how this Kinesis data stream works. Okay, so one important point maybe I can also highlight is how does it differ from the SQS, like, right, simple queue service. So people usually got confused, why do we need this Kinesis? The reason being is Kinesis does not support that high data throughput, basically 1 MB per second, and those message size also. So it supports, Kinesis data stream support that higher message rate and the larger message size, and also SQS does not have any capacity to store that data. Okay, once you have read this data, SQS is going to delete that, right? But Kinesis have that capability to store it, kind of store it for an specific retention time. So the advantage of storing it would be, let's say you want to play this Kinesis data stream for due to some any reason, right? So you have, although you have read that messages by any consumer, but now you have a requirement to read it again. So in that case, the consumer can read it from a specific point, right? So that would be the advantage of this Kinesis data stream. Okay, so now we have created this demo video stream. Status is active, provision mode, I think capacity mode is provisioned. Another one is, I think, the kind of serverless, or maybe the another one in which dynamic shards would be allocated. Data retention period is 1 day, and then after, I think it is kind of giving us three options for applications for consumers. So producer would be you can like push data in this Kinesis data stream using agent, SDK, and KPL library, and again you can consume data from it using Apache Flink application, which is the analytics, right? And also the Amazon data firehose. So if in case you want, you can directly, this firehose can directly read data from Kinesis streams. Okay, so if in case you don't need this analytics. So, and other one is KCL library. Okay, so we would be going to use the SDK to read and to kind of push data into it, right? Then after we have monitoring section. So monitoring section basically gives you at what rate data is coming in, what is the message rate, what is the message size, some basic information around this. Then we have configuration, I think. So configuration is, I think we already seen the write capacity, read capacity. So write capacity, as I said, it is 1 MB per second, but as soon as we increase those shard to 2, it would be 2 MB per second, 2000 records per second, right? So we can change the data retention. So so you can see this data stream pricing as well, right? So if you increase this pricing, this data retention period, the pricing would be more, definitely, right? Then we have enhanced fan out. Okay, so fan out is basically, as of now, the read capacity is only 2 MB per second. But if we want, we can enhance this fan out, so the data read capacity would get increased, right? So data viewer is like, let's say you want to read data just for the testing perspective. So you can select this chart, then after you can select the starting position. So we will discuss those starting position in a meanwhile, and then after you can just click on get records and you would be able to see data here. Okay, it is just for the testing perspective, right? And then we have again data analytics, and I think that would be a topic for some another video. Okay, so let's quickly jump over to the Python application and see how we can produce data into it, like how we can push data into it. Okay, so here what I have done, I have like kind of written a class for Kinesis manager, in which I have to pass some AWS key ID and secret key. Then after it is going to create the Kinesis client. And inside this after this Kinesis client, we have this push data to Kinesis, and in which we have to pass the stream name, data which we want to push, and the partition key. Okay, so and we are using kind of Kinesis client dot put record method to push those messages, right? Stream name, data, and partition key. Okay, so let's see how we can use this. So stream name is demo video stream, okay, so name is matching, partition key is key 1, so it can be anything whichever you want, it is not a fixed value. Based on it, shard will be decided, but as we have only a single shard, so this key is really doesn't matter at all. Okay, so then after I have created the Kinesis manager class, so by passing key id and secret key, and then after this is the code for pushing data, right? So for now I'm commenting this reading data. Okay, so I am just iterating a loop up to range 10, and then after just preparing up a data, printing this data, and then after pushing it to the Kinesis data stream. Okay, so let's try to run this Kinesis. Okay, so I think it is taking a little time. The reason could be I haven't passed I think the reason. Okay, the basically, right? So what I'm going to do, let me see how we can pass those session quick, I mean. So I think endpoint reason name, here is the reason name, so let me close it. So for now let me hard code it here. Okay, but I think we should change it. So now I think I will going to run it. So now ideally it should work. So now you can see like we are able to push it. Okay, so default reason basically stored in my, I think on my CLI is some another reason, so that's why it is giving me the error. But as soon as I think you change the correct reason, you can pass your reason right here, and it would be able to push it. Okay, so let's quickly jump here and see, try to get the record. Okay, so I will use this trim horizon, and I will explain you those starting position. So now you can see we are able to see those data, right? The partition key is key 1, key 0, key 1, key 9, up to the key 9. So here if you see, I have pushed it up to the key 9. So this is how basically you can push it. Now let's see how we can read this data. Okay, so for reading this data you need two things, right? The first one is shard id and second one is shard iterator. Okay, so shard id is basically the shard number, you can say that, right? So as of now we have only a single shard, that's why the shard id is shard id -0000, but you need this shard id definitely. Okay, in case you have multiple shard, hundreds of the shard, thousands of shard, you need those shard id. AWS provide a API to list those shards as well. Okay, so this is not a problem. Then after you need a shard iterator. So shard iterator is basically you create a shard iterator. I think it's just resembling to the Python iterator. The point is, if you want, like when you create a shard iterator, you have to pass the starting position. Okay, so starting position is like you can provide those 5 options. The first one is latest. So let's say you created a shard iterator with starting position as latest. Okay, so once you created this shard iterator, so any message push after this after creating the shard iterator, you would be able to receive that data. Okay, so trim horizon is like, if you pass this trim horizon starting position, you would be able to receive all the data from the starting, right? Which this Kinesis data stream have as of now, right? So you would be able to see all the data from key 0 only. Let's say we use add sequence number. So add sequence number is basically, you can assume like every message as a sequence ID. You can just understand it as a message ID. Okay, so you can pass this sequence number, and the message at this sequence number you would be able to receive. Okay, after sequence number, if you pass this sequence number, you would be able to see all the messages after this sequence number, that is key 4, key 5, key 6, key 7, key 8. Okay, and then after at timestamp, so let's say if you selected at timestamp, you have to pass a start date and start time, and all the messages after that timestamp you would be able to receive. Okay, so this is how those five I think starting position work. So timestamp is very clear. Sequence number, you have to pass a sequence number, and after that sequence number or maybe message at that sequence number, you will be able to see trim horizon, all the messages from starting. Latest is kind of you created this shard iterator right away, all the messages after this current time you would be able to see. Okay, so this is how you can use this. So let's quickly jump here. So for reading this data, what you have to do is you have to create a shard iterator, as I said, right? So I have defined here the shard ID. Then after I have to create a shard iterator, right? So for creating a shard iterator, I have a method get shard iterator, right? In this method, what I am doing is, so kind of there are different type of shard iterators. For that I have defined a class with name like latest, trim horizon and odd sequence number, all those things. And now I am kind of checking like if the client has passed the right arguments or not. So if the shard iterator type it at sequence number or the after sequence number, it is necessary to pass the sequence number, right? If sequence number is none, it means the client hasn't passed this. So I am giving an error, right? Then after just creating a shard iterator using the Amazon AWS Boto 3 APIs, right? So Kinesis client provide this method get shard iterator method in which I have to pass this shard iterator value and the sequence number. If timestamp, I'm again checking if timestamp is provided or not. If not provided, just raising an error. If provided, just creating a shard iterator again using the same APIs. And then after just else condition to get all those. Okay. So once this is done, you would be able to get and shard iterator. Okay. So ITR. Using this iterator you can consume data. Okay, so in that you have to pass the shard iterator. Limit is basically how many messages you want to receive in a single call. Okay, so you can define any value, and then the shard iterator is going to return you two things. The one is shard iterator for the next set of records and all the records for this right now, right? So let's try to quickly run it. So for now let's see the trim horizon. So we would be able to see all the messages from 0, right? So let's run it. Okay, so now you can see basically I'm able to see all the data from start. Okay, so let's say if I use after sequence number and I have to pass the sequence number as well. Sequence number. So let me copy the sequence number after this key 3. Okay, and if I run it, so ideally I should be able to see messages from key 4, right? So we would be able to see message from key 4, key 9, and you can see this code is not closed right now, right? So any messages if you push right away, you would be able to see here only. Okay, so this is how basically you can consume data from it. So I think you can similarly you can use the add sequence number and timestamp as well. So just to make this video, I think not very long, this is how kind of you can use it. Okay, so that's it for this video. I will share this code link in the description section. If you have any feedback for me, you can post it out in the comment section. Thank you.